What's up, everybody? Thanks for joining me on D's analysis. We're gonna be looking at MSTR today. What a day yesterday that was. That was a nice day. I mean, we closed at 342. This thing has gone crazy. The past, I don't even know how many trading days, probably ever since April 9th, this thing's just been ramping up crazy. Starting to look kind of similar to what we've seen previously. Not exact, but when you look here at this kind of move here, you had a large move up, large move, then you had not a small candle, but not a very large candle at the same time. And then maybe this is what we're going to get next, and we kind of follow that pattern and break our way out of here. Now, the difference between this leg and this leg is that this one was pulled back a little bit more, a more exaggerated move, which we spoke about previously. So it's going to take a little bit more to get to the all-time highs. As you can see, I'm just going to pull fib real quick. This one pulled to the 618 two times, and this one pulled to the, past the 618, halfway to the 786. So there's going to be a little bit more room for this thing to run up, and it has to make up more ground for what it's lost. So also keep that in mind. But I mean, what a great close. We're going to go over the Bitcoin chart, but that looks even more promising at the moment. I did speak about this zone being the next level of resistance, and it looks like it was being resistance yesterday. If we go down to the lower time frame, you can see you had 2 wicks there, and you can see we kind of just stopped right there, right at what we had drawn out previously. And if we can get a close above 356 on the weekly, I think that would be beautiful, because if we get a close at around 357 or higher, when you look to the left, there's not much traffic. It's going to be a smooth ride, probably up to about 400. And then we're going to run into this golden zone that we've been talking about. So that's going to be the next step that we'd have to break through. We might chop maybe in the 380s, but it should be a pretty smooth ride from 356 to, I would say, at least 380, maybe 400. This thing's starting to ramp up. We're starting to get that momentum. The double bottom that we spoke about starting to play out. And the reason we say that is because now we broke this middle line. Because initially we're talking about the double bottom, but at the moment, or prior, it was still here in this region. But now we actually broke past this middle point. So now the double bottom's more than likely to play out now. Maybe we match this move before a retracement off of this golden zone, or we get enough momentum and we blow right through the golden zone. If we get a close out here or on top of here, this is going to be very, very bullish, because at that point, now we're messing with all-time highs, essentially, because once you break 437, the next thing you see is all-time highs. And then from there, there's nothing to look to on the left. It's going to be a little bit harder to chart. It's always easier to chart when you have stuff to the left, but we'll figure it out as we go. But yeah, things are looking amazing. Super bullish. On the daily, we got that cross from the 20 over the 50. Super bullish. We got our bounce off the 200. We got 3 touches, and we shot off like a trampoline on this last one, creating that double bottom that we want. On the weekly, looking even better. We were saying that we could get a pop. If you've been watching the channel, you already know that we've been talking about this multiple times, where we were saying we're going to have resistance, which it was acting as resistance for the earlier part of yesterday. But once we crack that 20-week SMA, that we could get a little pop, and it looks like that's the little pop that we're getting currently. The things we have been talking about on the channel have been coming to fruition, which is awesome. It's not always the case. I will be wrong plenty of times, but it's nice to be right a couple times. On the Bollinger Bands, looking good. We got the bounce off the blue as we broke above it, retested, and pushing up to the red band. And now what I want to see for us is, obviously we don't want to retest the blue band. So ideally we'd either get a retest here back to the trend line, or we have enough momentum to kick up because Bitcoin maybe starts going crazy, which it seems like it's starting to do so, and we start hugging the red as we've seen previously, and our pullbacks are to the blue band. Pullbacks to the blue band. And even if we don't touch it, just in the area of the blue band as we continue ramping up, that's going to be what we'll be using for like our little pullbacks to continue up. And as we break that, then we can start thinking of like lower levels. But when it starts ramping up and we're past these all-time highs, we'll start looking at the blue band for our pullbacks and continuation. Not that we're day trading or anything, but if anybody is day trading on here, you could use that as a little indicator. On the weekly, looks like we are starting our break through the blue band, looking very bullish. Let's see how high this thing can go, and if we can start hugging that red band as well. On the RSI, the inverse head and shoulders, looks like it played out. You got your shoulder here, head, shoulder, and now we're breaking up. And usually your measured target is from the neckline to the tip of the head. So you go from there. Your neckline would be up here. So a measured target would take you, up there to about 67. But remember, nothing is exact. It's just the idea. So I think we could be getting to overbought territory sooner than later. That's what we want to see. We want to see an overextended buy for a long period of time. We want to see something like that where we just keep staying above this dotted line here at the 70. On the RSI, we have a strong move past the yellow moving average. This is looking extremely good. It looks like we just surpassed this last little level here. We surpassed this. So maybe we run all the way up to 67 or even higher. That'd be nice to see. And honestly, this thing's held up so well compared to the S&P 500 and what we've just seen on the S&P 500. Bitcoin's held up super well, so of course MicroStrategy did it too. So it's nice to see. And we kind of have the same story here. We were kind of like doing a solid slow creep, and now as you can see, this last volume candle, this last green candle, it kind of had like a nice push up higher. So hopefully we can get an even higher candle on the following one and start seeing some big green candles like these eventually. But once you start seeing these crazy candles, that's when you're probably nearing that blow off top, but we're nowhere near that yet. So we still have time to get there. On the weekly, we did speak about the blue line curling, and now it looks like it's officially curled. Love to see that. We were just saying when we laid down our dotted line that the blue line was angled upward a little bit, and now you can actually see that it's actually pushing up now. So now we just need what we always talk about, which is the bearish candles to die down, and it looks like it's dying down quicker than it was, because as you can see, it was kind of like stair stepping down, and now we're getting faster moves down. So you can see how the trend should have stayed on this line, but now that the bullish volume is increasing, these are dropping faster, which is what we want to see. And then on the flip side, we want to see the same thing. We want to see something like this. Stair stepping's fine, but we want to see those green candles ramp up fast. But speaking of the way that it's held up, you look at the S&P 500, and this thing held up very, very well. I mean, from this drop on, we should have dropped significantly more, but we really only dropped from the week of February 10th to about February 24th, and then we kind of just chopped sideways as the S&P 500 just tanked, which is surprising because honestly we should have probably fallen out of this channel, but it held this channel so well that, hey, we're in a good spot now. Definitely happy to see that. When we take a look at global liquidity, we did have another ramp up. I mean, I don't know when this thing is going to slow down. I don't want to see a slowdown. This thing just keeps going up. You love to see that. Look at that. Today's Wednesday. So Tuesday it ran up more, and hopefully Wednesday it's another day up. Well, it looks like this thing's not stopping anytime soon. I guess we can finally say which lag it was. It's always tough to say because this thing's dynamic. It's always going to change. Like we can't be like, oh yeah, it's set for sure at 85. Oh, it's set at 78 for sure, or 108. There's no. It's dynamic. If you watch the global liquidity enough, you'll know this thing is dynamic and it's never going to be exact. Like the next time we see a move like this, where's a pullback in global liquidity, Bitcoin might start rallying up 40 days after. You know, it's just so different every single time. But when we go from, let's go on to daily so we get a better idea. April 8th was our bottom. So we'll go there. And it puts you at about 85 days, maybe 87 days if you take it from this one over here. But it looks like 85 days seems to be the lag. And we're just making our way up. Hopefully it's a long sustainable move like global liquidity and we rally for the next 2-3 months. It's still early to say because, you know, things can always turn sour very quickly. And, you know, you have the macro uncertainty still. I know it's starting to ease up, of course, and the market seems to be digesting it a little bit better. So things should be looking good. Now this is what we've been speaking of. On X, I think I posted on YouTube too, on like the little post. I said that I really like this close because it was very bullish. And I was saying if we could break 88.8, that we could see 90.5 to 91.5. And that was on X. And then on YouTube, I said we could be seeing the low 90s. So I do think we can get a push up higher to maybe the low 90s. And it looks like that's exactly what happened. I mean, that was, and the reason I said 88.8 is because of the wick here. And then when you look to the left, it was kind of clean, but then you had some wicks here. So I was thinking it would stop it, but I also thought about the momentum and how long Bitcoin's been kind of in a downtrend, that I figured the momentum could probably take us to like 91.5, but it took us even further. So that's exciting, but the most exciting part is closing back inside of this range on the daily. Now the next thing we need to see is a close on Friday on the weekly back in this range, and I think things are about to get real once we get that close. So let's see if this, hopefully this doesn't turn into a wick and this stays a nice green candle. But I'm also not surprised that we got a move like this, because when you look at the weekly and you look to the left after you break 88.8, which is the level we were talking about on the daily, you look to the left, this is a clean move. And what did we get? A clean move right here. There weren't really too many wicks here, so it was an easy move for Bitcoin to take a ride right back up into the range. Now, this was a key level, or it still is a key level that we're at right now. The next level that we could be facing on a larger time frame is roughly in this region here. This is going to be our mid level that we need to watch out for, and that's going to be 98 to 99.5 roughly. We want to break that region. That's our next zone to watch out for. That's a weekly support and resistance zone. So remember, the higher the time frame, the more power it has. You can see it on the daily too. It's just cleaner on the weekly, but it's still pretty clean actually when you look at it. So you kind of have two little zones within this big range here, but things are looking very positive. We'll love to see it. We're gonna do a quick run through of this. So we got a close above the 200-day. Gotta have that. That's super important. We had our death cross rally, which is awesome. On the weekly, we got our bounce off to 50, and now we are pushing above the 20 week. So if we get a close above here as well, things are going to get real, because now you're back in the bottom of the range and you're holding the 20-week. Maybe a retest of the 20-week and we ramp up from there. Bollinger Band, same thing. We want to close in that same spot because the Bollinger Band, you have the blue band here in the middle. Another thing for confluence. And we're actually outside the red band, so we don't spend too much time outside the band, so we have to be careful as well. But when Bitcoin kicks up with momentum, this thing can do some crazy things. So just keep that in the back of your mind. When you overlay gold, you can see gold's been creating all-time highs, just breaking new levels, and it looks like we are going to be following. And maybe this is a 105-day lag here from this bottom in December 2023. I'm sorry, December 23rd, 2024. And maybe it's a 105-day lag between here and gold, and we ramp up from there. As you can see, we have followed gold prior, had a pullback. So they are known to be relatively similar. So let's see if we continue to follow gold and continue to create all-time highs. Also on Bitcoin, on the larger time frame, you can see this trend line that we have from the double peak that we had in the previous cycle, touching the March high and then touching the low that we just had now. We got a strong bounce off of that. So that's another thing that has played out as we were talking about. So that was a very strong level, and it looks to be playing out perfect. Things are looking very, very good. Doesn't mean we're out of the woods yet, but it's looking very, very promising at the moment. And then we have the MSTR divided by Bitcoin. So when you take a look here, you can see that MSTR was severely underperforming as expected because Bitcoin was dropping. And MSTR is a leverage play on Bitcoin, so it's going to do worse in the bad times, and it's going to do better in the good times. So it looks like we're starting to create a nice little trend, something like that here, which we love to see. We want to see that thing above 40 and see if we can start ramping up. Price action always looks a little funny on this, but we're trying to draw it out as best as possible. Microstrategy is starting to outperform Bitcoin, which is what it's supposed to do. We want to see it do what it's designed to do. And yeah, I think this is going to be a good time. So it looks like the next leg hopefully is playing out. We still have plenty of time. Doesn't mean anything's going to happen guaranteed yet. Looks like it's the beginning of a nice move. Like we said, after this level here, start looking at this golden zone here that we have. And actually, let me draw that out really quick, just for reference again. And that's our zone here, anywhere from 420 to 385, pulling the fib here to down here in a bearish pull. That's all I have for you guys. I'll see you in the next one.